Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the mainstream here for day one of the Quake World Championship. It is the final matchup here. Now, if you're like, oh, I'm really sad and this is not like this. Well, don't worry. We've got 2 more days of incredible action coming at you. But first, 2 more challengers going at it right here to determine one that will move on, one that will drop to the lower. Joining me on desk yet again is ZSX and Ketchup. Gentlemen, welcome back.
Thank you. Starting the day and rounding it off. That is commitment.
Yeah,
that is commitment.
That's true. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
I don't really know what planet I'm on because I just done Garpy versus Tox, of which live update for those that might have missed it. Unfortunately, Garpy is eliminated. Tox was able to get the win 2-0.
You didn't even give me a chance to watch the VOD. Catch-up. I can't believe you'd spoil me like that.
Tough. But now I'm jumping straight back up here, and now we're going to be doing another match to get us nice and ready for the night.
That's right. Bukster versus Yup are 2 challengers that fought their way through in the qualifiers and have made it here to compete with the other 24 players that are competing. And let's talk a little bit about them. Right? No necessarily interviews to do. We've got let's introduce Bukster. We got to see their poses and their fists and Bukster. Let's talk about Bukster.
Andre's leaving us hanging there. Bukster's someone who's been on the cusp for such a long time. I think he's been to 1 or 2 lands now, but he's always there or thereabouts. Normally,
there it is.
There's a fist.
Yep.
Classical esports posing. Just never had the fortune to break it into the QPR, but always knocking in the door into challenges. But as we've seen today, there's a good reason why. For sometimes, he's not always got to that level because some of these challenges have been mind-blowing. But now he is here. He deserves to be here. He plays an aggressive and fast style, risky style at that. But he brings some pain, and he's been around the block.
But I think that's been such a common talking point from so many of our challengers too, is that it's players that aren't afraid to be aggressive, aren't afraid to push those buttons, because you can catch someone uncomfortable. You can sometimes steal away a cheeky map or 2, but at the same time, we kind of look at how that style develops over somewhere like this. It has gone kind of catastrophically wrong for some people, where you'll put all your chips into the basket the moment the map begins, and then you can't recover for the remaining 10 minutes, which is where the more reserved style can come in. The methodical style is starting to really pioneer itself, especially over the course of this weekend, from players that are known for being a bit more versatile.
Yeah. And let's talk about him next. Let me just say before you say, I just love this guy's energy. Right.
Yes.
The first time I got a chance to meet him the other day, so happy to be here. Loves Quake, smile on his face. I'm like, dude, I love it. Yup.
I was about to say the exact same thing. Like, obviously an enigma. I mean, he comes from Argentina. I don't know if anyone's seen him play beyond the 1 feature he had in Challengers. I've seen a little bit in practice, but all I can say is when I met the guy here, just, as you rightly said, just absolutely loving every second of this experience. Doesn't want to forget a moment. And that in itself will hopefully reflect on his gameplay. He just wants to enjoy it. He looks ready, he looks excited, but from what I know of his playing style, he loves to play around the rail. He also likes to be aggressive. Like, we got Maxter in that Argentinian space as well. Heavy rail play, heavy aggressive. I'm sure he's modeled himself somewhat on that as well. But I can't say anything more better. He seems like a great guy.
Well, your comments, Ketchup, as we look at the picks and bans here that are popping up. And one thing I would mention is, like, when you're in traditionally a region where you might have a higher ping than the rest of the world, you come to land and you're like, this is the greatest thing ever. Like, I am a god. And here's our picks and bans. Vale from Bukster, Ruins from Yup, and Insomnia will be the last remaining match. Kind of interesting on that one, but Ketchup, what about the champion picks and bans?
Really, nothing is screaming different to me. I'm kind of just taking a look at these, and you've got the Ranger versus the Ison on Vale. Makes perfect sense. Ruins, Visor, kind of one of the main maps. You'll see a Visor get picked going up against a Nyx, where, again, Visor can do quite well in that matchup, so once again, that makes perfect sense. And then finally, Insomnia, Strog versus that Athena. We often see mobility as a rather significant key on that map. So really nothing is screaming at me to be like, hey, let's talk about this. I think these are just 2 players that know their own styles, are trying to be as familiar as they can with their opponents. How much they would have had to play each other, I don't know, because that's one of the big factors here is, and I could just be talking bollocks to be honest, but when you're looking at players that are in each other's path in tournament, it's fair to assume they probably haven't played each other. So
I'm going to go out and say never.
This is more than likely their first time. I'm gonna assume it too. This has to be their first time.
Once. When
Flea is like running to the studio right now. Guys, back in 2020, they played an online. Yeah, I don't know if that's the case. One final question here before we get started as the match is about to begin. What does the skin that a player uses for a champion say about them? I don't know, but Yup is rocking the Santa hat and the beard, and I like it. I'm here for it. Bring it on.
On the classic Ranger.
On the classic Ranger.
With the animated skin.
Yeah, I love it. I'm in. That's good stuff.
Can't take my eyes off it now.
It looks
See?
right,
I love it. People are like, show us the lobby, damn it. What are they talking about?
You'll see it in game. You'll see it in game.
You will see it in game.
The moment they released that classic Ranger skin, I was like, yes. I wanted that since day one.
I still think it's funny every time I see an orb go out, and it's just like a log that's an arm, and whatever. All right, it's late.
We're all old.
Yeah.
Gentlemen, any predictions you want to throw out here? Or is it just like, no, let the,
We're just gonna let this one
dice
roll.
of fate
Yeah,
roll?
we're gonna let this
Well,
one-
it's a really hard game to make predictions for, because I think fans of either side in chat will be just simply backing their player. And from our point of view, have they played each other before? More than likely not. If they know they're in each other's bracket, they would have been absolutely crazy to give each other, casual test matches on LAN, knowing you're going up against them. So I don't think that's a factor either. We've seen bukster before. Most people probably haven't seen Yup. This is possibly one of the biggest question marks of the entire day.
A debut, a fresh debut right here.
And I think that's a hard position to be in. I don't know much about Buxter personally, but if he's putting pressure on his shoulders, like he's been in this situation before, trying to get into the pro league, and now he's going up against someone he would expect to beat, but knows nothing about. Like, I think Tox said it when he was losing when he came off stage on stage. I really didn't want to lose that. Going against these players you expect yourself to beat, and then you start losing. That's when this is a real awkward situation for a Buxter fan. But we also need someone rocking the gunners in the QPL, because Dahang is no longer with us, and Buxter's there with them.
You're
so,
right.
Yeah.
You're right. That's a good observation.
There you
All right,
go.
gentlemen, we'll keep those good observations up, and good luck to both players. I'll be back when you conclude, and take it away.
Thank you very much. And we have seen so much of this map today. And I really want to give a special shout out to everyone that's been tuning in. If you've been here from the beginning, like all of us have been, then shouts to you for putting in this marathon with us. But you know what? It's for world-class Quake. Back on LAN after about 3 years of not having it. It couldn't be for a better reason. And there's Yup with the immediate push to say, hello, this is me.
Not afraid whatsoever. Dropping down onto his opponent. Balls of steel. Slightly late for that pickup though, so he does miss out on it, but you can see the aggression and the upright confidence from Yup. And I have seen it in practice, and he was pulling out some decent results against very, very good players. So this is perfectly in his capabilities from what I've seen to take this one at least to the wire, if not a victory. So good start from Yup, although he does miss out quite heavily on that Mega.
Bit of a statement to make.
Oh, sorry, that was Buxton.
Bit of a statement to make so far to kickstart this map. It's late in the day. Where we're grinding, and here comes Yup, absolutely fearless, and putting on the highest amount of pressure. Oh. Wow, that rocket hurts.
Good use of the Ranger passive. I'm always a fan of anyone that does that. Uses the speed, uses the rocket jump. That's the utility you want. It puts pressure on your opponent, and Yup's doing it well. He doesn't have the rail yet. And I mentioned in the intro, from what I've seen, he loves to use that weapon. So biding his time before making his way across the map, just wants to maintain control. I think after this next pickup, if it's clean, he might jump on down and go across.
Having to take a rail in the meantime. So maybe not as clean as he would have wanted. There is time to kind of think about our next plan of attack. It'll be 13 seconds until Mega's about to spawn, but very clearly, Yup wants to win this fight. Preemptively goes in for the orb, though. That could have been so much more damage, but just letting it go far too early and punished.
It was the right play, but as you say, just slightly Shot a little bit too early and didn't get any real effectiveness with it. And then at that point, you're a little bit of a sitting duck. Bukster cleans it up and a big rocket there through the doorway. That's juicy. And Yup is on the ropes. He's got that rail now. Double rail, in fact, to christen it to the QPL. But Bukster's more than happy and obliging with the HMG.
This is that adaptation. It's only been 2.5 minutes, but Bukster starting to play a little bit more of his own game. There has been such an emphasis on just controlling this map. You know, Yup's been slipping in and out, finding some damage in rather unusual places. Where on the side of Bukster, it's been all about these major items, of which here comes another one. And actually, in this case, Yup is nowhere to be found. So far, Bukster has been having relatively free reign over the Vale, and now Yup has already taken quite a few of these armors, so there's not much left to pick up. Forced to jump down. This is a risky play. Ooh. Even with the orb, I mean, that orb wasn't going to be able to do the damage. Bukster was far too stacked.
Yeah, and I think you mentioned it in the intro, but maybe some of these pushes are slightly green in their nature. And what I mean by that is just a bit naive in trying to assert himself in situations where it was not necessarily going to work out. But I love the enthusiasm and the executions there. Every one of these pushes, even if they're not necessarily the right decision, the commitment and the execution has been good. So he just needs to refine it now, get back onto some of these items, and work the map a bit more methodically. Good player once again, but again, he's just not got the stack to compete.
So tempting to take that light in so many situations, but in so many situations, your opponent wants you to do just that, as Bukster did. Happy to let you take it, mate, because I'm going to pepper these rockets and I'm going to get that LG right as you come running. Now Bukster, 4 frags to 1 here, looking really comfortable. And that has been a major factor at play. Yup has been almost completely non-existent during all of these item pickups. I've been watching this through Bukster's point of view the whole time, and every time there's been a heavy or a mega, Yup just hasn't been there.
No, he was there off the bat when he picked up a couple initial rotations, but you're right, there has not been a huge contest on the defense. He's much preferring these aggressive pushes to force the fight rather than just testing the item of VAR or doing some exit damage. Again, amazing damage coming out, but it's just before the item pickup. That's a great spawn from Yup though, and fortunately that will get him back into this set.
That is actually a very, very good spawn to have. Exactly what you were looking for, and then you can just go and pick it up right as you reappear. But it hasn't caused Bukster too much bother just yet, being able to restabilize and bring himself back up to a natural stack there thanks to the armor. Needs a little bit more for the health department, but now, once more, we're looking at those major items. Mega, just about to spawn, but with Yup controlling that high ground, it's fair to assume that's going to be his prize. But Yup's doing the right thing. Knows that Bukster was more than likely going to push towards that heavy because it's the one you're closest to. We know we're going to take Mega for free, so yeah, let's just sit forward and try and get some bonus damage first, maybe even shut down the heavy. Didn't quite work out, but again, it's the thinking ahead that matters the most here.
Once again, though, Yup's just trying to assert himself. Definitely feel that he needs to manufacture these opportunities. He's just jumping into Bukster, which it definitely can work. It just will expose him to this damage. He's in position to challenge for this heavy, and Bukster actually entirely forfeits that. Tries to defend this Mega. He's a little bit early himself, but with the lightning guns out, he's doing a lot of damage. Yup comes charging with the rocket, unfortunately not connecting with anything at this point, and it's going to be a clean frag for Bukster, and that's painful. With nearly just 4 minutes to go, Yup needs to find a way to regroup, because ever since those early engagements catch-ups, Bukster's looked fairly stable in his output.
Feels a little bit like maybe Bukster was caught off guard by the early aggression of Yup, but since then, that was a, okay, well, wait, so clearly this is the kind of player that I'm fighting. I'm fighting someone that's aggressive and rather fearless, so let's try and slow things down a little bit, be a bit more careful.
Exactly, and I think you can see that. You can see the way in which he's approaching these choke points. He's listening to use those audio cues and just play slower, as you rightly said.
Using that aggression against him now, though, as Yup is now trying to be assertive and trying to be the one that's kind of taking the initiative almost, and Bukster is just sitting there listening for it and waiting.
Yeah, and he's wanting it to come because he has the stack, he has the position, so he's almost goading it, and Yup is obliging. Fortunately for Yup, some of the damage output has slipped off as well, saying that he's bouncing Bukster around, but again, the items are there to recoup that loss, leaving Yup with not a lot to work with.
I mean, you can say that again. It's kind of weird to think about things, though, that Yup has not been particularly behind on the item department, but it feels like he is.
Yeah.
It's just been, Bukster has been so stacked for so long. You'd look at the stacks, the stack difference, sorry, and the stats, you'd think that Yup hasn't taken any.
No, but it's also that the items Yup is taking, they're almost steals, where Bukster's challenging heavily, where quite a lot of Bukster's items have been free or very clean.
Just look there, picks up the Mega and it's immediately neutralized.
And so what the appearance is there that Bukster's had a clean map, which he's been challenged, but he's almost felt like he's had Yup on a little bit of a string, and Yup's fallen into those traps that Bukster was setting.
This may just be the first map, but Bukster being able to stabilize a extremely rough start is a incredible way to kickstart things. You having to wait a long time during the day, right? You know, everyone else is getting their matches done.
Last match of the day.
It's not easy to prepare for.
Particularly if you're nervous and you're having to sit around all day watching these great players go out and some of their challenges performing well. It's a hard task to be in, but Bukster's come in looking very cool, calm and collected. Yup came out swinging, but Bukster's been mature about it.
Yup has taken so much damage that even if he, Bukster's doing the right thing. I got 6-1 situation here. You're weak as anything. Even if you try and push forward, I'm just going to get an easy frag. Happy to just keep you behind. Yeah. You want to try and lick your wounds. You want to try and pick up some stacks. It's going to take time, mate. Time you don't have.
It's been a respectful performance from Bukster as well. There's definitely been opportunities where he could have tried to force the issue, pick up some more frags, but he realized he didn't need it. He played the angles, and I think I used the word mature, and I think I have to say it again, it's just more of a culture performance from him. Whereas Yup, just needs to round the edges of the performance, and it would have been much, much more competitive. But nevertheless, he's got some items, he's got himself onto the board early, and this is a hard map to break through if you're not that accomplished at it. So let's try and put it behind him and move on.
Yeah, in this situation, there's not much you can do but just contemplate the future. We're not going to have loads of time to think about how we are going to approach the next map, because, I mean, really, give it a few minutes and we're going to be straight back in there. Best of 3 territory. Again, not much breathing space. No. But this is where the adaptation gets stressed the most. And even in this setting, feels like the players are going to be rolling out the GGs, perhaps. There's now really, there's no way that Yup's going to be able to take this one. And we shall wait patiently for that second map. Sorry, there's a little bit of chit-chat behind us. I'm trying to figure out what's going on.
I don't know. I think Baby Bukster was just talking to himself. But either way, should be words of happiness, because he played well. Like, he didn't set the world alight, but he did what he needed to do in these situations. And he's really kind of used the aggression of Yup against him, played the items well, and that's all you can ask. You know, a victory in map 1 of your first game of the tournament, absolutely rock solid.
Now, Yup, you're kind of looking at the rest of the maps, and there just needs to be a little bit more patience, perhaps.
Yes,
that's one of the key factors, because it was an impressive way to start. You know, we both looked at that beginning and went, wow, hang on a minute, okay.
It almost felt that he got so encouraged by the early aggression that it worked out. He just tried to do it again. You know, rinse and repeat the same formula where, you know, the more experienced players, it won't work again. And you definitely have to build your way into the set, build your way into a frag, do the chip damage, have the right weapon, choose your moments. And unfortunately for Yup, some of the moments he chose were just not the right ones, and Bukster was expecting it, and he punished him for it.
2 mediums, but Bukster did a pretty much flat 1,000 more damage too.
Yeah.
Kind of just goes to show. And I think a lot of that damage would have come from that sort of ranged play, getting that sort of, you know, ranged rockets, the rails, whatever it was, where you're catching someone who wants to be aggressive, and then just as they're flying around the corner, boom, you know, catch that once or twice.
Exactly.
That adds up throughout the course of the map, and before you know it, things are not going your way.
No, not at all. We saw that a number of times where Bukster was dropping into these angles, just more aware of where Yup was going, and it was just really difficult at that point for Yup to make anything to happen. He just wasn't able to challenge any of Bukster's pickups, whereas you can see here, so many times that Yup was taking items just he took like a heavy debt, he died for it, and that was the big challenge. Coupling that with he wasn't connecting with as many shots as he probably would have liked compared to Bukster, nearly hitting 60% rail, should I say. That's a big challenge on the back foot. So not the ideal start for the Argentinian, but, you know, he showed enthusiasm, and he should be encouraged by the start and just take that forward.
Yeah, just for a bit of a disclaimer, not entirely sure what's going on, but it looks like Yup has had to quickly step away for a second, so it could be really anything. Could be a hardware replacement, could be bathroom break, whatever.
Yeah, we're not going to speculate, really, are we? We're just going to let it happen, let it play out.
Yeah.
Keep you entertained in the meanwhile for the last set of the day on the A stream. There's at least one more set on the B stream, and Bukster was talking to himself. It really confused me for a second.
It's just a world of confusion
Right.
as we clear out the first day here of the World Championships.
Yup is back, though, as we are going to be moving on to Ruins of Sarnath. We have the Nyx
Yeah, let's talk about the champions.
against the Visor. Nyx against the Visor.
Yeah. So, all right. So, with the gameplay that we saw and the styles of play mostly coming out of Yup, now we're going with a Visor where the champion naturally kind of forces you to play slower.
Yes.
I feel like that could be somewhat of an advantage here, right? Because we have this out in the open map, well, I say out in the open, larger map, which can be a lot more rail heavy, a weapon of which, again, we've had talks of the town about how good Yup's rail can be, right? So, you know, I feel like if the stars align, we're going to just get just naturally a change of pace going into this next map, and I'd like to see that.
I find that Vale is a situation, particularly if you're not massively comfortable on it, where you can be forced to feel that you need to make something happen. And that's kind of what I felt Yup was trying to do. You can take the fight on. There are situations you create these messy engagements, and Yup was really trying to force that. Ruins, you are naturally going to play a more methodical, slower game. Couple that with the Visor, as you said. Hopefully that will settle you up, and that can be beneficial for someone who doesn't then feel the pressure to make things happen all the time. And then you can build your way in with the rail, and you can actually establish yourself in the game before it falls away from you. And on the flip side, we saw Bucks just wanting to play that slower, more methodical game, and he has a Nyx. So this should lean the way of playing that way. And I think that definitely benefits from what we've seen from Yup. If he can then rein it in a bit, that will mean he doesn't let the game spiral away from himself.
Well, it looks like we're in the warm-up, and this is where the upper bracket journey could be over for Yup, and we've only just really started, but like I said, that double elimination, it does give players that might not have as much experience in this setting that second life, that chance to really sort of gather your thoughts and really make that miracle run. However, off the back of a rather convincing first map there for Bukster, we'll see if things will change up a little bit.
I have to say as well, Argentinians in Quake have good posture when they're playing.
Yes, they do.
Yup and Maxter, perfect back position. Anyway, he popping an early use of that piercing sight. Going to work his way around to pick up the rail, the trusty rail, and just go and wait down this heavy area. Just down by the jump pad, the perfect defensive positioning. Buckster is more than aware what's going on though. Hits that nice chip rail. He won't engage, particularly now he's eating himself a rail. But what that means is Yup, should I say, not Bup, is going to be going in aggressive towards this Mega, and Buckster is nowhere to be seen.
The defensive game can reign supreme when it comes to Nyx, though. That Ghost Walk is the absolute ticket towards... Oh, you've caught me. Think again. Having to catch this champion twice, especially with someone who isn't afraid to play that defensive game of angles and strong positions.
Look at this, like, instantly pops the piercing sight and just runs at his opponent.
Using a piercing sight and all you do is eat a rocket, that's like the worst way it could go.
Yeah.
Really unfortunate there for Yup, because again...
But this is also part of the matchup of the champions, in that you feel more inclined to want to use it more often, to eat the shards, so your opponent doesn't have more uptime of their Ghost Walk. It does appear that Buckster's more than happy just to hold on to that Ghost Walk and use it purely from a defensively point of view. He's just barreling on through. Yup is too weak to even peek at this point.
Remember, we are on Ruins. There's plenty of hourglasses, especially up here. Yup had used the piercing sight, and then within, I think it was about 13 seconds, had already had another one. And yeah, the major push in there from Bukster. And that's going to give an early lead here. Now with Yup, 20 seconds until piercing sight, but once again, as I kind of pointed out just now, the hourglasses on this map in particular are plentiful, which is fantastic if you're Visor.
This is the situation Buxton wants to be in. He hasn't shown any inkling on this map already that he wants to play any different. A, B, C. Keep it slow. Keep it safe. And honestly, I think that's what he feels is all that's going to be needed. At the moment, though, Yup is showing more life. Once again, the piercing sight is used to try and connect with the rails. This time, they're not. Just being strung together. He's gone on aggressive right on through, but another big rocket knocks Buckster off this time. And now he's in a little bit of trouble, but holds onto the Ghost Walk for now. Yup is in position, but they're both about the same level of stack. Buckster's just going to moonwalk his way out and back down.
Scary fight to take for Buckster. It was indeed railable right there. Yup couldn't quite connect the shot. But Buckster, again, is just being, I think, well, sparing with the Ghost Walk. Have we even seen it used yet?
Not that I...
3 minutes and not once.
Definitely could have used it then, but nice and cool. He is using it now as Yup refuses to relent with the W key. Keeps on going on in. Tries to connect again, but nothing is working, or not as much as he would want. Some of these pushes are good, it's just the clinicalness is not quite there from Yup's perspective. Any one of these shots would have hit. When he's gone through, bukster would be in more trouble than he is. He's also nicely set up for this Mega, and he's maintaining that timing, but as I say that, just dodged on back and gave an inch for Yup to work his way in, and he takes that. Bukster with the Ghost Walk up, he's happy to keep retreating, happy to play this keep away game, happy to goad his opponent into him. It's exactly what we saw on Vale, except he's a bit more vulnerable.
Yup was so prepared for that. Yeah. Bukster decides to peek and pays the price for it instantly. May as well have been frame 1, but Mega is going to be that next objective. Bukster, yeah, this is going to have to be a safe decision to make. Do I got this jump pad? Fakes it out just on the off chance that Yup was looking for it. I like that. And
the question mark now for Yup is he's got good pressure, he's got a good rotation. Does he continue to just bust out his piercing sight on cooldown? Does he hold it to try and keep it when the Ghost Walk comes out? This is the dilemma now that he'll be playing with in his head. I imagine from what we've seen, he'll just use it straight away to try and chack his opponent down.
You would definitely think that Yup has acknowledged, the cooldown began. You would definitely think that Yup is going to use it all the time because surely he's noticed by now that Bukster is just straight up not using the Ghost Walk. So if it's not going to get used, I may as well get information as much as possible and then just pick up all the free hourglasses. They just belong to Visor at this point.
Exactly, and it's a dangerous strat from Bukster. I mean, he's been forced into it because Yup's control has been spot on. There we go, huge opening. He knows there's no Ghost Walk up. You have to end this frag now. Yup enters the room, he eats 2. He's got another one he can. Obviously, he doesn't want to, and he will pick up a nice, clean frag. The split between the items is big catch-up, and Bukster's not in a position to really challenge this. He comes flying on in with the nail gun. But no, it's not going to do enough for Yup, and he's now got the Mega, a piercing sight, and a heavy to fall back on.
Bukster's going to be able to just realize that the likelihood of a piercing sight, it's got to be high. It's been some time since I last sort of encountered it, right? So every step round a corner becomes a gargantuan risk when you're dealing with a Visor that has it ready to go when you're at death's door. I mean, nothing scarier, to be honest.
No, it is the challenge. Unless you hear it up and if you know someone's constantly using it, you're always living on the edge unless you heard it. That is a little bit of the challenge. And that's partly why Bukster's been so careful. You see he's down here now. He's going to take this fight. No, he didn't even hit the rail, though. Gets away, but no, not quite straight from below. Yup takes the lead, and he's got the follow-up. Oh, nearly gets it. Bukster once again just holding on to that Ghost Walk. He's so greedy with that catch-up.
Too greedy, but now being forced to use it just to survive. Not very healthy here. Not even 30 HP. I mean,
the Mega's up.
He's no,
he's lost timing.
It's so easy for us to say that because we have the stopwatch, but it's tragical the same.
I know, and that's a situation where he just doesn't have the timing. This is the problem being on the back foot. Like, how does he get back into this game? He hasn't even shown any signs of life to try and challenge Yup, and Yup is not making a mistake with the timing or the pressure. He's got the piercing sight in a few seconds, and the Ghost Walk's up simultaneously. But look at Bukster. He's just playing an RPG. He's just running away from the mob, and he tries to take a fight, but it's the wrong fight.
Now, as a wise man once said, there is still time, but there's not much of it.
I wouldn't call him wise.
Now, Bukster's gonna be in this position, forcing in loads of nail gun damage, but not enough. Again, Yup just stands true. The iron brick wall of defense says, "Excuse me, sir, I'd like another frag, please."
That was a good push by Bukster, but as you said, it's just been too little too late in terms of no pre-damage. He has to go all in, and it's just before the major item. What it has done now is opened up the door for a pickup. This is only his 6th pickup of the game in terms of major item. Yup has had 22 major items, 3 times as many nearly. Oh, sorry, nearly 4 times as many, should I say. And Ghost Walk is out, but Yup is ready. He knows, oh my god, out of the Ghost Walk comes a full rocket. Bukster, he's done a good job, but he's weak himself.
That was surgical timing.
Yeah, it was.
But what do you do to bring yourself back in right now? You know, you kind of need to secure one of those frags. Around now would be nice. being able to get a nice sequence perhaps, but you know, he's going to be able to get himself a piercing sight ready to go. Yeah. That's going to make the push even harder because, you know, the defensive play becomes way more effective if you can see them everywhere.
I like that a lot. He's just baited bukster out, delaying his advances. Oh, I know he's picking up, and now he does, and a full rocket. bukster has to do something, and this is why he's going in, but they're both so low. Piercing sight comes out, so he knows how safe he is to patrol the map, and he's just delaying and delaying. He's not available, so that's why he's feeling confident here. And what I really like is just that it would have been easy for Yup to look at this and go, oh, I'm in the lead, there's only 2 minutes to go, I'll go defensive. But no, he continues to challenge. He realizes how important it is for him to keep a presence on the map. Really well played. Second guessing without their piercing sight, but they're going to run into bukster up top.
Hang on a minute.
Oh, wow.
Right, 1 minute and 20 seconds. bukster on one of the major items, the opening rail. That is very important indeed.
Yeah, huge. That's a huge rail. It stalls a lot of the momentum of Yup, makes him second guess. Piercing sights up in a second as well. He won't need it as his opponent is right down below. So he holds on to that for now. He's just going to hold this high ground. He's got the Mega in his sights, but he drops up as well. How huge is that going to be, Ketchup? He's living with nothing. There's so much time before this next heavy. He's got to get out. He's got to stay in the stairwell and force his opponent into him.
You'd almost think that Yup fell victim to his own piercing sight because he could see bukster running around the corner and was so eager to escape that the Mega just became secondary.
Absolutely. The one time you think the piercing sight is the devil for yourself and he's given up the map with 30 seconds to go. What are you going to do now? This is heart in your mouth stuff. We can see where he is. bukster's going to take that, make the way around. Is he even going to check the light armor? I think he might have heard him up the stairwell. No, he doesn't. He's ton left.
Uh-oh.
15 seconds to go. He will know now. Surely he knows now. Here comes the Ghost Walk. Yup is there. They're going to meet. He's going to catch him up. And this is a certain frag. Oh my god.
We are just about to end a sudden death. Yup spawning with the rail in hand, and that's the only weapon you can get. Escaping through the teleporter, bukster has been able to pull off an incredible comeback, and Yup just getting caught slipping. There really is no scientific explanation for it. The defensive LG. Wait a minute, bukster takes it! Last possible moment right there, and the comeback is real, folks.
Yeah, that was a close one. There's nowhere to put it. I think you said it. Like the piercing sight guided him away from the key objective he needed to be at, and that was the downfall. Great presence of mind for bukster to maintain composure in the final seconds, not to scout out the surrounding areas, but just to go for the heart of the belly of the beast. Found his opponent down in the caverns of the heavy armor. Pretty fortunate he chose the right spot, but really well played to forge that comeback. It was close, Wheat, really close.
Yup, clearly a sportsman, still a smile on his face, patted his opponent on his back, and you know, you got to ask yourself, is that the Landon experience, right? Yeah. Up by 2, final moments.
Yeah.
You know, that critical point in time in which, you know, yeah, I should probably use my piercing sight, but then suddenly that puts you in a bad spot. It's
not even that, as you said, the experience, right? Yeah, using the piercing sight's the right thing, but keeping a track on your opponent, keeping a track of the time, is that coming up? That's the experience where you can have that presence of mind to do all of that calculation in that split second. Then he would have taken it, and he probably would have won the
lightning.
game.
Ride the lightning.
But you have to say, apart from losing the game, I thought he played that map really, really well. Map 1, I think, was a mixture of nerves, maybe not great at Vale. Tried to force too many things, and then it came too late. Whereas this map, completely the reverse. We said keep the ABC going, play simple, play control, play the rail, and he did all of those things, Ketchup.
But bukster just put on that masterclass of the time and a place nature of Nyx.
Yeah.
Being able to use that ghost walk in so many game-changing moments, using it in an instance where you get a good read on where someone's going to be. Again, I think that can really speak to the experience starting to come through. This is not bukster's first time being in this position, so I think there was a different level of comfort here, perhaps. All in all, just led to a bloody fantastic second map. Like, that was a really good ending.
It was a good ending to not only the match and the series, but also to the day, gentlemen. Been putting your reps in, all of the viewers too. It's been a wild one.
Hey, I said it earlier on, if people have been tuning into this from the beginning and joining us all the way, you're the MVPs. Appreciate you.
Yeah, we need like Twitch drops for someone that's going to be here all day, right? Like, show that support. I don't know why I'm looking at you. I'm just saying it out loud.
Yeah, sure. Let me get right on that.
No. DJ Wheat's the one that will make it happen. Just everyone get involved on Twitter. Tweet at DJ Wheat and,
Please.
Happy birthday, Ketchup. Sorry.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Happy
birthday.
Yeah, of course.
Happy birthday.
Yeah.
What a way to spend it.
Yeah.
Actually, it's past midnight, so we missed it completely. Oh, no. I'm going to take this wild stab in the dark that maybe we'll get a chance to look at like updated brackets or maybe a schedule for tomorrow.
Thanks, Andre.
I wasn't quite ready, but I mean, all in all seriousness, it has, we kind of alluded to it in the conversations that we had. Would you agree with me that today was the best day one that we've had in a long time?
Yeah, when I look back at other events, like we look back at the event and say that was a great event, and it's normally finals day and day 2 when we get to the best of 5s. But
right.
I don't think we've seen this many close games, particularly when you look at some of the names that have played, the upsets, and then the challenges as well that have come through, and just it's been phenomenal.
Yeah.
Almost every match has been good. Like, I mean, even looking back to things like I still kind of think about CNZ versus Dramis. That, for me, was like my match of the day, I think. Like, such a good series. It kind of just demonstrates progression. Dramis being really a player to watch here. And a player, one of many, actually. There's so many players off the matches that we've seen today where it's like, you've got to keep an eye on that person.
Yeah.
Players and fans alike, because tomorrow could be juicy. And, I mean, we're going to go beyond, right? That finals day, that's going to be ridiculous.
Yeah. Any matches for you, Dan, that stood out as...
I think the serious Sparty one.
I was going to say the same thing. There was something good.
That was just another level of weirdly fantastic in some sort of sadistic way. And just on it, I don't know if you're going to mention that. I think Sirius is about to play on the B stream. If you want to go support 40 and those boys over there against Proximo. So it's still going on that stream. But that game was just fantastic. Yeah,
I think the game right after that, too, just kind of seeing Razy in his top form versus Sirius.
I was casting. I didn't see it.
Super polarizing. Oh, man. Like, I'll tell you what, Razy looked like a champion today.
There we go.
And so did Avik.
Avik was insane.
Yeah.
He wasn't feeling confident. He was really afraid going into that set against Saigib.
Really?
A lot of respect. And that's just Avik. He's very humble. But everything about his game today looked strong. His weapon choice was phenomenal. That's what I was really impressed by. Just always using the right, always understands when to push. He's definitely scary. And I think this is Razy's event as well. So it's so many great players.
Well, I'll tell you what, it's time to stop down, wrap things up. Here is the skinny. You'll be able to check out the schedule for tomorrow's matches over on the Quake Champions social media. That's at Quake over on Twitter. And then tomorrow, we'll run through all the brackets. I mean, certainly they're all tuned in to Quake.pglesports.com. Anyway, they're following that along, but we'll run through. We'll talk about what our favorite matches were. It's time to get some rest so that we can be ready for another. I mean, if day 2 is even a fraction of what today was, we're in for a treat. So, gentlemen, any final thoughts before we wrap it up? Catch up.
Play Quake. It's a good game. And, you'll enjoy it. You can watch some of the action that's taken place this weekend and be like, man, I want to play it. And you know what? Can play it. You'll have fun.
Nice.
Can I go to bed now?
Yes, you can. As soon as Dan gives his final thoughts. And Dan, if your final thought isn't just like the Sparty pose, then I don't know what to tell you.
I don't know. It's not even my final thoughts. I've got 2 more days of thoughts, so I'm going to reserve them for now.
Okay,
we'll
fantastic. Thank you to the players. Thanks to the staff here at PGL, Bethesda, everyone who helped make today possible. And you know what? The return to LAN has been a pretty nice one. I think we are definitely in for a treat for the remainder. We've got 2 more days tomorrow. A lot of back-to-back action. Not only will we have the main stream going, but also the B stream where you might unfortunately see your favorite player go home, but again, we'll see a lot more play out. So Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us all day long. Shout out to all of the folks here on the desk. And, of course, our man 40 over on the B stream. Go say hi and wrap things up with 40 as we conclude here. I'm DJ. We joined on the desk by ZSX and Ketchup. Also, thanks to Flea and Lethal. We're going to see you tomorrow. Have a good night's sleep. Dream of Quake. And we'll see you tomorrow. We're out of here. Peace.